So the All Blacks have just announced their side, and there are quite a few changes that they have made compared to their match up against Japan, but we will be going through them in this video, starting with the front row. They are going to be as follows. It will be number 1, Ethan de Groot, number 2, Cody. It will be number 1, Ethan de Groot, number 2, Cody Taylor, and number 3, Tyrell Lomax. So actually 3 changes from what we saw in the last match up against Japan when it was George Bower, Samisoni Taukei'aho, and then also Nepo Laulala. Instead, they have gone with the 2 props who were the inform options for the Rugby Championship, and also Cody Taylor makes his way into that starting lineup rather than Taukei'aho. Then looking through at the locks, we knew there was going to be a change here because of Brodie Retallick's suspension. At number 4, it will be the captain, Sam Whitelock, and then at number 5, the return of Scott Barrett. So the 2 Crusaders teammates linking up there in the locking duo. Last week, we saw 2 Chiefs. This week, we see 2 Crusaders in there. Then in the loose forward trio, a couple changes made here, but first of all, one player who wasn't changed for this matchup compared to Japan is number 6, Shannon Frizzell. He has still got himself that starting spot at blindside flanker. Then number 7, with Sam Cane out with the injury, it did mean we were going to see a new option here. The question was, would it be Dalton Papali'i or would it be Ardie Savea? They have gone Dalton Papali'i as the number 7, and Ardie Savea, he is actually there as the number 8. So a dangerous loose forward trio that they've gone with. 3 different Super Rugby sides all coming together in those loose forwards, and I do hope they have a very good game up against the Welsh. Now looking through at the back line, it will be number 9, Aaron Smith, with number 10 being Richie Mo'unga, the combination that they did go with the most throughout the Rugby Championship. In the back line though, the rest of the backs that is, there are quite a few changes and quite a bit of a reshuffle that we have seen here for the All Blacks, including, I guess, the Barrett brothers is probably the one that they have had to reshuffle the most. But at number 11, they have stuck with him Caleb Clark. In the centres, it will be Geordie Barrett at number 12 and number 13, Rieko Ioane. So we're seeing Geordie Barrett slot in at 12 really at international level. He did play a little bit of inside centre though throughout Super Rugby Pacific for the Hurricanes. So I believe that is a position that he may be after in the future, perhaps with Will Jordan eventually going to number 15. Then out on the right wing for this match, it will be Severeese at number 14, and then at number 15, going to be a 3rd Barrett in the starting lineup, and that is Beauden Barrett slotting in at number 15. I'm curious to know how often he decides to join the line rather than hanging back. Maybe him and Geordie just have a little bit of a reshuffle like they're playing in the backyard again. Maybe it's effective, maybe there'll be a bit of a jumble, but either way, it's going to be great to see the Barretts back in the starting lineup. That is the end of the starting lineup for the All Blacks. Now we look through at the reserves, and they are going to be as follows. Number 16, it is Samisoni Taukei'aho. Did get the start in the last week's match. He actually was brought in for the start due to the injury of Dane Coles, who is now unavailable for the rest of the November internationals. Looking through at the props, it will be Ofa Tu'ungafasi playing his 50th match at number 17, and then number 18, they have gone Fletcher Null. Then in the rest of the replacement forwards, it will be number 19, Tupa Va'ai, number 20, Akira Ioane. So quite a bit of versatility between those 2 players. Both can slot in at 6, but also you've got the option, a lock for Tupa Va'ai. Can play a bit of number 8 as well, Akira Ioane. So they've got most of the positions covered. If they did have any sort of injury for the All Blacks throughout this game up against Wales, then the rest of the replacements, number 21, Brad Weber, who was brought in from the All Blacks 15 squad relatively recently with the injury of Falau Fakatava, number 22, David Havili, and then at number 23 to close out the side, it will be Anton Leonard-Brown. So actually similar to what they did last week for the All Blacks up against Japan, having Havili and Leonard-Brown both coming off the bench. But that is the starting lineup and reserves for the All Blacks. It is an early morning start for us on Sunday morning here in New Zealand for the game, but we will be live on the channel doing the commentary, so be sure to check that out as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. Do let me know what you thought of the side in the comments down below, and your score prediction for this upcoming international between the All Blacks and Wales. But thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all for the next one.